Ciao and welcome to my cellar. It's Saturday night, I'm making steak. Not one of those big porterhouse steaks or ribeyes, but kind of a nice filet mignon. And I think I might stuff it with a little blue cheese and give it a nice little crust. Maybe come up with a little sauce. Not quite sure yet. But I am certain I'm going to need some wine to drink with it. And it's a weekend, so I am looking for a weekender style of wine. I have over here my California wines, which would be a terrific choice. California big fruit flavors, lots of sort of that blackberry, really rich, intense flavors that would go well with a steak. Let's see, over here I've got French wines, the Bordeaux, a little more subtle, but nonetheless still heavy with the Cabernet Merlot action, and that also will pair well with steak. But this is Vino di Italiano. You came here to learn about Italian wine, so the question then becomes, what do you pair a nice steak with an Italian wine? Well, steak really isn't all that popular in Italy. You'll see it more in the Tuscany area. Tuscany is probably known for its beef. Obviously, you've heard of steak Florentine, and that's where you'll get to see a little bit of steak dishes. But don't really have the true steak houses like we have here in America. If we've got one thing over Italy, it's beef. Nonetheless, I think there's a great choice from Italy. It comes from Tuscany, and it's a little district called the Bolgheri district. Now, the Bolgheri district is famous for what we know as the Super Tuscans. Now, I could pull out a Tignanello. A Tignanello is probably something that you've heard about. It is clearly one of the more famous Super Tuscans coming out of Italy. But I'm going to save this for a special occasion. These things tend to be a little pricey. It can get north of about $90. So it's about borderline. If I was particularly feeling, gung-ho, had a good week at work or something, I might pull this out. But I've got a friend coming over from Italy in about a month that I'll probably break this open and share it with him. But there are wines that you can get from Bolgheri that you can drink on a weekend. So for example, this wine, La Serra Nuovo. La Serra Nuovo is a wine that is produced by the Ornaiella winery. Now Ornaiella is a very famous Super Tuscan and is known for its super famous prices. But this wine, being sort of its little sister, little brother wine, runs in the neighborhood of $50. And that's just about the borderline of where I like to get my weekender wines. So we're going to learn about this wine and see how this is going to go with the steak.
The Bolgheri wine district is located in Tuscany, near the western coast of Italy. Unlike many of the other wine areas in Italy, Bolgheri is a relatively new wine region. Its current claim to fame dates back to just after World War II, when a gentleman by the name of Mario Incisa got the idea to plant Cabernet Sauvignon grapes on his estate. Now, Cabernet Sauvignon is not really a grape that is widely planted in Italy, so you can imagine the looks he must have gotten from his neighbors, especially since he got the grapes from France. His wine, Sassicaia, really took off in the 70s and started to achieve world acclaim, which was really something because Italy at the time was not really known for producing the kinds of wines that could compete with pricey Bordeaux coming out of France. Back in the day, Italian wine was typically served in jugs or straw-covered bottles which made for nice candlesticks. There wasn't even a designation for the wines, so the term Super Tuscan was created, presumably by some smart marketing types. While some Super Tuscans can come with a super price, there are a few wines that are also of high quality for a more reasonable cost. I like to call them the sidekicks. Now, the main grapes grown in Bolgheri, along with Cabernet Sauvignon, are Merlot, Cab Franc, Shiraz, and of course, Sangiovese. They are generally blended according to the winemaker's wishes, and very little in the way of controls, except for the origin of the grape, minimum alcohol levels, and aging of at least 10 months. So here's the wine. Beautiful dark purple color. It's what you expect. There's Cabernet, Sauvignon, Merlot, a little bit of Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot. Oh, wow. The aroma will just knock you out. Mm. Wow. That is an amazing taste. You know, what you have is a little bit of like sort of the dark red fruit, like a currant, little coffee, you know, some chocolate, and then it's very complex. The tannins are real nice. Of course, this is 10 years old, so there's a lot to be said about aging a wine. I think if we had opened up the 2010 or 2011, it'd probably be a little bit more fruit forward, a little bit more in your face. This has that nice little subtlety. And you know what's great about it? You don't have to be Italian to love Italian wine.